Hello, everyone. Have you ever felt like your career is a little stuck? Or maybe you look around you and view other fitness professionals as being the lucky ones. Maybe you haven't figured out the right way to move forward in your career. Don't worry, you're not alone. And it doesn't come down to luck, it actually comes down to strategy and understanding how and when you should make the right moves forward. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica H. Maurer. I'm a fitness business strategist, and I help people go from feeling overwhelmed to feeling organized. I'm an international keynote speaker, and I've worked in the industry for over 22 years as a personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, a facility manager, a business owner, a master trainer, an educator, a vice president of a company, a director of education and fitness, and on-screen talent as well. In addition to all of this amazing aspects of my career, the best part is really speaking to fitness professionals like you, helping you understand how to take the next steps forward in your career. Before we get started, I have just one more question to ask you. Have you ever felt like this? Don't worry, you're not alone. Whether you feel stuck, whether you feel like you're unlucky, or maybe you feel burnt out, or perhaps even bored. By the end of this presentation, I hope that you walk away feeling triumphant and understanding the path forward, the things that you need to take in order to overcome the career roadblocks that I've seen many fitness professionals struggle with. Whether you're a solo entrepreneur, whether you're a studio owner, maybe you're a group fitness manager or a personal trainer, I promise you, these next few steps are going to help you overcome the most common roadblocks that we see throughout the industry. You ready to get started? Let's talk about fitness career roadblock number one. And I hate to tell you, but it's actually you. You can be your biggest roadblock. Now, within each of the roadblocks we're going to review today, I've actually broken them down into three specific categories. So for this section, we're going to be talking about how you probably said yes to everything. You're probably working from a point of scarcity. You're worried that if you don't say yes to everything, that your next opportunity may never come. We're also going to talk about your hours. Perhaps you think that the only way you can make money in our industry is with your physical body. Or perhaps you've just really cheapened your services. You have discounted your services to the point where you come across as cheap and therefore not valuable. We're going to talk about all three of these things, but the first thing that we have to tackle is the fact that when you say yes to everything, you often have to deal with feeling like an imposter. You feel like you don't belong here, you don't deserve to be here. And the reason why is because you are unpracticed in that modality, in that fitness class with that certain client. You're starting to try to be everything to everyone, and that really is just not authentic. You can't be your true self if you're trying to be everyone all the time to everyone else. For example, when's the last time you went shopping for jeans? I'm sure you walked into the store and you were a bit overwhelmed with all of the options. There are different fabric styles, there are different colors, there's different cuts, there's different lengths, and you got to try on all of them to really figure out which one fits you best. Fitness is very similar. You're going to try on a lot of different fitness modalities, and some are going to fit you like a glove, and some are not. And it's going to be okay that you don't buy the ones that don't fit. It's going to be perfectly fine for your career for you to stop saying yes to everything and start being picky. Start only saying yes to the things that are your jam. What really makes you happy? What really makes you thrive? Perhaps you just said yes to that 5 a.m. cycling class because you felt like it was the last time you might get this opportunity to teach. It might make a more well-rounded schedule for you, but really, you are not a morning person, and getting up to teach that class feels like a drag. Guess what? That feeling is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. You're not going to suddenly become this person who loves morning classes if you've never loved mornings. You've got to decide what is your jam, what's your sweet spot, and then hone in on that. The same way that we teach our clients. Find the movement that you love the most and then stick with that movement. Because the more that you enjoy something, the less it feels like a burden. And the more that you enjoy something, the more excited you are to do it. So be picky. Stop saying yes to all of the clients. Figure out what client you want to serve and then go specifically for that client. Think of it like fishing. You need to understand what fish you're searching for to know what body of water to go fishing in. So decide, what's your jam? What's your style of jeans? Stop saying yes to everything. You are slowing down your career by trying to be everything to everyone. Now, let me ask you another question. Have you ever been injured? I mean, injured to the point where you couldn't train or you couldn't teach. Injured to the point where you literally had to take vacation to heal. I was that way. I have definitely had numerous amount of injuries where I have wondered, is this going to end my career? In fact, I have a genetic blood disorder called beta thalassemia intermedia. And a few years ago, it really started to act up. And I had to cut drastically back from my physical activity in order to really take care of myself, to ensure that my red blood cells were in a place that I could live with, I could thrive with, instead of feeling depleted. Now, you may not have a genetic disorder like me, or you've never been injured before, but you may be understanding where I'm getting at. Your working hours cannot just be dictated by your physical health, because then you're dictated by how much your body can or should do. You instead need to think about, how can you diversify your income? Yes, in the fitness industry, no matter what your niche is, no matter what your jam is, no matter what clients you work with or what classes you choose to teach, you need to be able to diversify your income. In order to do so, you need to be educated on what's available in the fitness, health, and wellness sphere. Like right now, taking courses like this, listening to workshops, attending conferences, these are all amazing ways that you can learn more about the industry, to understand how you can really diversify what you offer. So it's not just dependent on your physical body being able to be in a space at the same time with your clientele. Maybe this means that you need to move into a virtual space, that you want to offer on-demand classes or on-demand services, or you want to offer an ebook or a training plan that someone can do at any time. Maybe you want to go into the YouTube space where people can take your classes in the future that you filmed last week. Starting to think about how you can incorporate hybrid training models in your day-to-day. And if you're a gym manager or a fitness studio owner, or you work in a gym facility that doesn't allow for you to offer these, maybe you start to work together in unison with partners to be able to offer some type of virtual, hybrid, or on-demand offering. Ways that you can, again, really diversify what you offer to your clientele, so it's not just dependent upon your body. Now, we all know how important nutrition is to our physical health. And if this is an avenue that you'd like to investigate, go become more educated. Learn more about sports nutrition. Learn more about supplementation. Learn more about becoming a registered dietitian or a licensed nutritionist. Try not to just offer blanket statement meal plans, but instead really take educational courses and workshops that will help you understand how you can guide your clients to living healthier and happier lives through not just physical movement, but also how they care for themselves habit-wise with their nutrition, their hydration, or perhaps even behavioral change information. Speaking of behavioral change, do you know why most people are coming to fitness now? It's not physical transformation. Do you know that 78% of people work out for their mental wellness and well-being? 78% of people. That's far more than the people who are looking for physical transformation, who are looking for the scale or the inches to drop. 78% of people are working out because they understand that fitness makes them feel better. Fitness allows for them to find emotional regulation. Fitness allows for them to lead more of a stress-less life. So we need to really welcome that into our training. So becoming more informed on life coaching, mental wellness, things that you can offer to your clientele that are not just sets and reps in order to continue to diversify your income. Now, when we talk about mental health versus mental wellness, what are we actually talking about? Yes, it's a buzzword right now because we're seeing a mental wellness revolution happen in our society where we're starting to talk about things like mental health symptoms. We're starting to talk about the happiness factor. We're starting to talk about loneliness and depression and anxiety. But what do all of these terms mean? Well, mental wellness actually exists on a dual continuum. Mental health is your horizontal line where you either have high symptoms or low symptoms. And this means that you have a diagnosable mental health disorder, diagnosable depression, generalized anxiety, eating disorders, schizophrenia, whereas the vertical axis is everyone. No matter if you have a mental health disorder or not, you can live in a state of flourishing mental well-being or languishing mental well-being. And it doesn't have to be that you wait until a diagnosis in order to change how you're feeling. There's so many factors that come into play about helping people move to flourishing, happy, and helping people move languishing or sad. And if you have a mental health diagnosable disorder, you don't have to live in the high symptom area. You can do things that will help you move into the low symptom area. But everyone has that vertical axis of feeling happy or feeling sad. And you, as a fitness professional, you have some direct implication into how they are either flourishing or languishing. In fact, studies have shown over and over again that if someone wants to improve their mental wellness, there are 4 main factors that they should tie into: exercise and movement, appropriate nutrition, mindfulness practices, and social connection. These are ways that we as fitness professionals can start to tie these aspects into how we train our clients so that they come away from our sessions feeling joyful, stress-free, and excited to come back to you, excited for their next session with you. I want to hone in just for a moment on that social connection part, because that social connection part is really important in the social aspect of what we do at fitness. You might be the only adult that person talks to the day. You may be the only person that doesn't talk about Bluey to that mom in your front row. And so allowing your clients to be human and communicate with you as well as their fellow fitness participants is key to their mental well-being. Now let's move on, because I told you that there were 3 sections of you being your biggest career roadblock. We've talked about how you've probably said yes to everything and you need to be more specific. We've talked about how you need to diversify your income and how you can start using education to really offer more things to your clients. And now we need to talk about money. It makes everyone uncomfortable when we get to this part. Over the last few years, you have probably discounted your services greatly. You've probably slashed your prices in hopes of getting anyone to come through your door. When we've done this collectively as an industry, what we've told society is that we're not worth your money. And if we're not worth your money, then are we worth your time, your effort, and your energy? We have to stop looking at compensation in terms of only financial obligation. Instead, compensation really is time, energy, and money. And so some people would rather give you money and give you no time. Some people can give you time, but with little money, and we rarely see that being reciprocal for an extended period of time. We see that being very short and not for the long term. People need to see value in all types of compensation in order for them to come to your facility. So instead of thinking about, I need to slash my prices, I need to put this for sale, I need to be cheaper than the person down the street, I want you to change from I need to be affordable to I provide high value services. Change your mindset. It's not, I need to be cheap, I need to put this on sale, I need more bodies in the door. It's, I provide high value services. I am worth your compensation. I am worth your time, your effort, your energy, and your financial obligation. My services are worth your financial obligation to me. And when you change that mindset and you start understanding your value, that you are here to help people become healthier and happier, you'll notice that you start to attract clientele who will stay with you for longer. Yes, slashing your prices and being affordable or being cheap or being discounted, it's going to bring people in. Absolutely. But those people do not stay. Those people statistically come in and they don't come back. And so, yeah, can you accumulate large numbers? Absolutely. But are you really making a difference in their lives so much that they're going to go out and tell everyone about you? No. So how can you be a change maker? I provide high value services. Say it to yourself. Every time you look at your offerings menu, every time you go to price a new program, I provide high value services. I provide high value services. Let's move on and talk about your next roadblock. And that would be, yes, your clients. Your clients can be your biggest career roadblock, but maybe not for the reason that you think. Here are some main issues when we think about our clientele. We say they're not motivated. They're not motivated enough to stick with fitness or to stick with my training plans or my group fitness classes. Or we start to think, oh, my clients are being taken away by the competition. That new yoga studio that opened down the street has taken all my clients. Or this new low income style gym, that's what I'm trying to say, has taken all my clients. And maybe you've just spent all of your money and efforts chasing new clients. I just need new bodies in the door, new bodies in the door, new bodies in the door. Okay, let's talk about all three of these things. We're going to start with motivation first, okay? We all have a common theme that runs through our mind from a psychological perspective, and it is called the false consensus effect. The false consensus effect says, whatever I am thinking, everyone else is thinking. If I am enjoying this activity, everyone else enjoys it. If I like this food, everyone else likes this food. If I enjoy this movie or show or book, everyone else will. The false consensus effect. And it's rare that we take time as a human to go, oh, wait, what if I actually am the weirdo? What if I am actually the one who likes something that not everyone else likes? What if I'm the outlier? We rarely take time to think about this. But I'm going to show you a statistic that makes this really much more of a realization for most fitness professionals. Only 24% of Americans meet the physical activity requirements recommendations. 24%. Do you know what that means? That means only 24% of Americans are working out at least 3 times a week. That's it, 24%. Which begs for us to realize that we are the weirdos. It is us. We are the outliers. We think fitness is fun. We know fitness makes us feel better, but we haven't been able to convey that yet to the American population. For so long, we have focused on fitness and wellness on numbers. We focused on sets and reps. We focused on weight loss. We focused on inches lost. And when we focus on these things that we cannot actually promise, then our industry walks away seeing as we're a bunch of liars. We cannot promise that in 7 weeks, you're going to lose 5 pounds. We can't promise that because so many other factors come into play. It's not just about their physical activity. It's their nutrition. It's their sleep. It's their hormones. It's how much they did to their body in the past. Losing weight is bio-individual, and therefore we cannot make promises that you will lose weight. And so what happens? We make these grandiose promises. They come in, they spend 7 weeks with us, they don't lose a pound, and they go, well, that didn't work for me. And they never come back. They never come back to us because that didn't work for me. It's not that that didn't work for me. It's not that. But that is the story they have convinced themselves, right? So we continue to try to motivate them by physical transformation. I promise you're going to look like this. We show this idea of the perfect physique, and this is what you're going to get when you come and you stick with us. Genetically, that's probably not true for them, or they would already be that way, right? It's probably not a promise we should make. Also, it's a promise of the future. We promise if you come with us, you're going to lose that weight. Okay, but that's in 7 weeks. I can barely think about what I'm going to do in the next 7 hours. How can I think about what I'm going to do for the next 7 weeks? We live in a society of instant gratification, so we need to change our vernacular. We need to change our motivation. This is no longer motivating people. Motivation is, after this one workout, you will feel better. This is the place you come when you need to relieve your stress. This is the place that you need to come when you know you need some emotional regularity. You need to let go of some negativity. I promise you, after this one session with me, you are going to feel happier immediately, not 7 weeks down the road. Right now, I'm going to help you find the exercise, the modality, the class that you like the most. I'm going to show you this buffet of fitness that I have to offer you, and we're going to find what really brings you joy. I promise you, after this session, you're going to feel better. Right now, instant gratification. We have a reputation problem in the industry. What are you doing to change it? I'm going to show you a couple of images now. These images were all found on Canva. Canva is a site where you can create any type of graphics. So things like business cards, flyers, websites, PDFs, ebooks, all of the above. Social media. And they purchase stock imagery, photographs from various photographers. And these are some of the images that come up when you search the fitness industry, fitness coach, and fitness trainer. Now, I didn't have to search very far to find these graphics. They were pretty much on the front page. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Guys, this is what consumers think of us. In all 3 of these situations, there was a photographer on the set. There was probably a set designer, and there were at least 2 models. And all of them thought, this is a great scene we should capture. Because this is how consumers see us. Now, I want to reiterate, I did not create these on AI. These are readily available for the entire population to use. Again, our motivation is not working. People are associating the fitness industry as where they go to be punished, where they go to feel guilt and shame for what they did or for their bodies. We have to start changing how we speak to people, how we motivate people. We have to start moving away from shaming them for who they are and how they are, and instead being their biggest cheerleaders, helping them find the fitness that they will stick with past 6 weeks, more like 6 years. Moving away from guilt and shame and punishment and moving in to mental wellness, helping them find joy, helping them move closer to a flourishing lifestyle and away from this mentality. And the best way to do that is to really have conversations about the pleasure principle. What brings you joy? Do you know that psychology has proved that humanity will move closer towards things that bring them joy and happiness and away from things that feel overwhelming, burdensome, or painful? It is an innate response to just being a human, to move away from things that make you feel worse and to move to things that make you feel better. How can we play this into our clientele, taking our motivation away from sets and reps and weight loss and more into what do you like to do? What feels good to you? And feeling good to you can be things like, your preference plays into fact. Your experiences play into this. Your influences play into this. There's a lot of factors that come into what you enjoy. Now, remember, there's that false consensus effect, and we think that everyone likes what we like. We think that because I really love kickboxing, everyone else loves kickboxing. Not true. How can we say, here's the buffet, let's figure out what you like so that you will come back more often because it's something you enjoy doing. And it may not be my jam. And that's why I have all of these friends in the community where their jams are different than my jams, and I can show you the fitness location, studio, trainer, group fitness class that you really are going to love. Helping more people find fitness. That should be our goal. Understanding that their influences are going to play a huge factor into this. What are their friends like? Where are their friends going? Do they have friends at your location? Because that social connection part is so important to feeling like they're flourishing. So can we start to make things feel more social? Can we start to help match make best friends together? And how can we really play into this that starts to build a spider web of connection throughout your facility, classes, even training sessions? Think about your community like a spider web. How many of you have gone hiking before and you walked through a spider web that stayed with you for 3 days, right? That was a really well-built spider web. The community itself is the spider web. All of the strands that connects it together, those are the connections between individual people. And notice it doesn't just connect to the middle. It doesn't just connect to you. It connects to everyone in the community. And then the thickness of the strands, that's camaraderie. That is the love, the friendship that connects all these people together. The stronger your community, the harder it is to break. Now go hiking again and walk through a flimsy spider web that you can just toss off of you. And that's one that has very little connections to each other. It wasn't a well-built community. These are the places that we saw close during COVID, during the pandemic, versus the communities that stayed strong. They stayed strong because of the connection between each person. So how can you start to build your spider web? Let me, and again, ask you a question. Raise your hand if you're the kind of person who can eat the exact same breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day and be fine with it. Personally, not for me. I would probably pull my eyelashes out. This can also tell us people's habits for exercise. The ones who can eat the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of their life, they're the ones who have one facility and they like this one thing. Versus the people who are like, oh my God, no, I would go insane. You're the ones who probably have 3 memberships and you like to hop around. Again, preferences. We know that each person is unique. Each person is their own weirdo, and we need to celebrate that and help matchmake them with their people as well as their locations. And when we start to see that there are some risk-adverse people and some people who really love risk, then we start to understand that it's not that the other locations in your area are competition. It's instead that we need to be working in collaboration together. There are going to be some people who eat the same oatmeal every single day who don't like risk. They are going to stay in one place. And then you got the other people who want to try everything. Those are the people who are going to hop around. Shouldn't you be the matchmaker that helps them hop around so that they always come back to you because you are helping them find their happiness, their joy, and you're matchmaking them? Our competition is not the studio that opened up down the street. It's not the other personal trainer. It's not even the big box gyms. It's time. The competition is time. That is the number one reason that people say they don't work out. I don't have time. It's not because I would rather go over here. I'm not going anywhere. 24% of Americans are exercising 3 times a week. It's time. Time is the enemy, not someone else. And when you start to change your mindset, you start thinking less about this being competition, and you start to think about this more being about collaboration. How can we fit together so that we really are exchanging clients back and forth, so that if you don't like my style, I know you're going to like this style more, or allowing them to do the same in reverse, understanding that you are not an island and you don't have to do this alone. We should be working together to get more people into the fitness industry, not less. More people into our facilities, not less. We need to stop working in silos and start coming together to really create a well-rounded puzzle so people can see all of the different avenues and aspects, moving away from their lack of motivation or this person's our competition and more into how can we collaborate together to get more people to fitness. Now, the third issue that we were going to talk about here, of course, is that constantly chasing your tail mentality. I'm always looking for the next lead, the next person. Flip it. Instead of thinking about constantly be working in lead generation or buying ads or how can I get more people to try me for the first time, instead, I want you to start celebrating the people who already know, like, and trust you. Your retention strategy should be stronger than your lead strategy. And if you're only focusing on getting new people in, then the people who have already know, like, and trust you are walking faster out that door. So how can we start to build more sustainable retention strategies? And the way is to build connection. Go back to thinking about your spider web. Make sure you know every name who walks in your door. Whether you're a facility owner or you're a group fitness instructor, you should know every single name. Ask them questions. I know that's a wild theory, but start having conversations with people, asking them, how are you feeling today? But actually waiting for an answer. Asking them, how'd you sleep last night? Did you like that aqua class? Have you tried Friday's yoga? Ask them questions. Turn things into small gamifications. It's not about who can do more reps. It's maybe who can name more states in a row. Changing it from being about the physical aspect of things into more of a cognitive aspect of things, or even maybe it's a class challenge. Partnering people together, knowing that this new client has 3 kids and this old client has 3 kids and we need to match make them together. And you can also do partner exercises, but that's for a totally different presentation. And then making sure we celebrate everything. Every detail should be celebrated. It's not just about weight loss. It's not just about sets and reps. We're celebrating everything. And here's some ways that we can do that. You want to celebrate anniversaries, the small ones and the big ones. This person's been with us for a month. This person's been with 6. This person's a year. This is 5 years. Figure out how you're going to celebrate your anniversaries. Birthdays. So maybe your anniversaries are physical on a wall, but maybe birthdays are going out into your emails. These are all the birthdays for the month of July. If you see someone, make sure you give them a high five. Class milestones of they came to 10 classes, 50 classes, 100 classes. And maybe their names go on a board outside of the group fitness room in order to celebrate their class milestones. Also, achievements are great things that we can celebrate. We just want to make sure that it's diversified and it's not just about 10 pounds lost. It's about doing a push-up on the toes for the first time. It's about trying a different modality, coming to the first time to a class that might have scared them before. And then celebrate referrals. If they brought a friend, there should be fireworks going off when they walk in that door. If their best friend came with them, their sister, they brought 3 new people in. Referrals are the biggest celebrations that you should be doing because they're your biggest advocates. They're your cheerleaders and they're bringing more people to you. Celebrate that. And you can celebrate it in a number of different ways. I've given you examples of how you can physically celebrate it within the facility if that's possible. We've talked about how we can add things into your email list so your newsletter isn't just boring information. We're actually celebrating the clients that are in our spaces. And of course, you can always celebrate on social media. Maybe if people come in for a referral, then you take a picture of that and share how Susie brought in her best friend today, tried this new Pilates class. Figure out ways you can tie these celebrations in will help you no longer be blocked by your clients, but instead be able to move forward with your clientele. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about that is your biggest career roadblock is your plan. Or better yet, maybe it's the lack of a plan. Maybe you don't have one. Maybe you don't know what direction you're going. You're just still in fitness because you liked it. You didn't know what else to do. Maybe you have really poor work habits, or you don't take time to reflect back on your goals to see if you're actually closer to them. So let's dive into all of this content as well. You have to know your end destination. Imagine getting on an airplane and not knowing where you were going. You just took off and just let the pilot fly. Some of us might enjoy that, and some of us might be panicked and wondering, well, where am I going to end up? If you don't have a goal in mind, you're essentially just letting the pilot take you wherever it wants to go. You're riding in somebody else's transportation instead of directing your own. So you need to ask yourself, where am I going? What is my end goal? Not only that, but what does success look like? We're constantly in this world where we're chasing success, but have you ever actually stopped and said, oh my God, what is that? What does that mean to me? How do I track success? Is it just a feeling I'm suddenly going to wake up and have one day? Trust me, it's not. You need to be able to put numbers to it. What is success? Not only what is success, but what does personal happiness look like to you? It's probably not working 70-hour work weeks. I'm just going to throw that out there. As someone who is habitually a person who collects more than they can do, let me tell you, as a yes woman, as a recovering yes woman, that will not make you happy. What is success? What is happiness? How do those two things work together to move you forward and closer to your destination? Those things should almost be like you're interlacing your fingers together, where the idea of success and the idea of happiness come together to create your plan to move forward. You cannot just think about success in terms of your professional relationship or happiness in terms of your private life. You got to be able to merge those two things together. While we like to think that we have a working persona and a personal persona, those two personas still have to live in the same body. And so how can we make them interlock and work together? Now, maybe this reminds you of your to-do list. Maybe this is your office right now. Do your work habits not exist? Trust me, we've all been there. As I mentioned to you before, one of the things that I love doing the most, that is my jam, is helping people go from feeling like this overwhelmed, to feeling organized. Like they understand what they're going to do every day. They understand how they're going to get all that work done. And if your life looks a little bit like this, maybe you need to overhaul your work habits. What is a habit? A habit is an automatic behavior. It's shaped by cues and rewards. A habit isn't just something that you just pick up one day. It's something that is intentional that turns automatic. This means habit lifestyles in terms of how you eat, how you drink, how you move, but also how you follow up with clients, how you make sure you have a retention strategy. A habit is a system. If this, then that. If I get a new client, I do this immediately. I go ahead and enter in their birthdays. I go ahead and schedule emails to go out 1 month later, one celebration milestone. I make sure I'm tracking what classes they're coming to with this system. I go ahead and set everything into place immediately when that new client registers with me. If this, then that. Now, oftentimes when I say things like, oh, you need a system, people start thinking about technology. I'm not talking about tech. I'm talking about habit strategy. You do not need a ton of software. You do not need a lot of tech in order to have good habit strategy. You just need a system. If this, then that. If my feet hit the ground in the morning when I wake up, I go brush my teeth. That is a habit. That is a system. If this, then that. And you need to look at all of the things that you need to be doing in order to create a sustainable business by how do you work? How are your work habits? In order to create a strong habit, there are 3 steps. You need the cue, if this. You need the actual routine, and you need the reward. You need all 3 of these things to make the habit sustainable. I like to tell my clients that this is the way that your future you is going to thank you. That reward is the future being so glad that you took care of this in the moment. Work habits should be designed to help you work smarter, not harder. It's not about having more on your to-do list. It's about understanding that this is your capacity on Monday, this is your capacity on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, so on and so forth, so that you understand when to put your heavy hitters in. And it's not just on your to-do list to get done whenever, but instead there's a strategy behind it that you understand You have to schedule your administrative work into your days so that you understand when these things need to happen. And your administrative work can be things like following up with your team. It could be things like making sure you have subs for the next week, the next month. Maybe it's things like reaching out to your clientele, being proactive in your follow up. Maybe it is about lead generation and ensuring that you have a time scheduled during your week where you can reach back out to them. When you start to put these into your calendars and make promises to yourself, keep promises to yourself. When you start keeping promises to yourself, that is when you start to move out of burnout and you start moving into a space where you can really thrive. You're not married to the pings and the dings of your life. Instead, you understand that on Mondays, this is what happens. On Tuesday, this is what happens. It will start giving you places to hold all of those things that are going in your mind. Your mind is for thinking, not remembering. You shouldn't have to remember to send out this email because you understand that emails happen every day between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. All emails go out. Instead of thinking about, oh, when I get here, I need to remember to do this. No, it's scheduled. It's in your day. This allows for you to really understand where you're going and how you're going to get there. Now, speaking of which, if I just put you on a trail and said, start walking, eventually you'll get there, how would you feel about that situation? Would you be worried? Do I have enough time? Do I have enough supplies? Do I have enough water? Or maybe you're thinking, oh, when I get around this corner, I'll be done. And you'll be extremely disappointed when you get around that corner and you're not done. You need to understand your destination. You need to understand how much effort and intensity to put into something so that you can make it all the way there in a safe manner. The only way to do that is to look at your data and your stats, to understand how much water do you have with you, to take some time to reflect back on the goals you've set. Because if your habits are not supporting you on your journey, then you need to change your habits. But if you have not scheduled time to really reflect, rethink, and revise your plan, you don't know if your habits are actually happening. For another example, let's say a client comes to you and says, I want to be able to run my first 5K. And you say, great, when is it? That's the first thing we ask, right? And then we also ask, like, have you been running? What's your run experience? Okay. And we ask some more questions, of course. And we start to get a game plan in mind, and then we never have them run. We do all these other modalities instead. And then when they get to the 5K and they don't do as well as they hoped, we can look back and say, oh, well, your habits were not in line with your journey, your destination, your goal. We want to make sure that the habits we have are going to bring us to our end destination, our goal. And if you don't take time to go back and reassess and look at them, then you're never quite sure if you're on the right path. You're never right sure if are you hiking the Appalachian Trail, or did you happen to end up in the Rockies? We need to take time to reflect, rethink, revise our plan to ensure our habits are working. If the habits are not healthy, you have to revise. Habits have to support where you want to end up. Take time now to schedule this with yourself. Make a date with yourself. Schedule this into your life, into your monthly, your quarterly, and your yearly strategy. Go on a retreat with yourself, even if it's just to your favorite coffee shop for 2 hours every Friday or every quarter, so that you can go back and look and say, am I getting the leads that I hoped to get based on these habits? Am I retaining clients due to these habits? Or does something need to change? Schedule it with yourself now. I hope through this presentation that you have found solutions. Not just issues, not just roadblocks, but you have found solutions to these things. Being sure that you're being selective, that you understand what your jam is, what are you good at, what brings you joy, and focusing in on that modality, that clientele, that style of things. We could go on and on and on about delegation and automation to get things off your plate. But it starts with, do you actually understand what you're good at? Because trust me, You are one style of jeans, not all of them. We want to make sure that we're diversifying our offerings so that your income is not just based on your physical body, that you have been able to diversify and offer more things to your clientele, and that you know your worth. You, my friend, you are helping make people healthier and happier. You're doing amazing work. Know your worth. Hone in on that worth. We've also talked about how you're going to update your style of motivation, leaving behind the idea of it being numbers based and in the future. It's not about guilt or shame or punishment. Fitness is about joy, helping people find what makes them feel good, what makes them feel confident. We're going to start thinking about collaboration with partners in the area. We're not thinking about them being competition, but instead understanding, hey, what's your jam? What are you really into? Oh, you really love doing active aging, and I don't really love doing active aging. So, hey, I really want to work pre and postnatal. You really want to work active aging. Let's work together. Let's exchange people back and forth to ensure that people find the right home in fitness in a reciprocal manner. And making sure we're focusing on retention strategies, not constantly just looking for the next, but hey, these people already know, like, and trust us. How do we keep them so that they become our biggest advocates, so that they help us find new leads? And making sure that your path has a direction, that you know and you understand where you want to end up. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be when you grow up? Taking time to assess success and happiness, and how do those things come together? Looking at your habits, your work habits, scheduling them in, understanding that, yes, payroll has to get done, and it gets done every Friday at noon. And I have it scheduled in my calendar. Nobody can book over it because this is a promise I've made to myself. Do you know that confidence grows when you keep promises to yourself? Promises like things you put on your calendar, appointments you book with yourself, those are promises you've made. If you keep them, your confidence grows. Confidence grows, your mental well-being increases. And then looking for time to reflect. Are my habits getting me closer to my goals? And if they're not, what do I need to change to ensure that they do? Again, I want to take some time to just say thank you. You are fitness professionals on the front line. You're doing amazingly great work. You are helping people become healthier and happier with everything you do. And I want to make sure that you walk away with this feeling energized, having some new solutions so that you can move forward and do the good work that you're doing. Again, my name is Jessica H. Maurer. I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for spending your time, your effort, and your energy with me. And if you have any questions, if you want to talk about how you can move away from guilt and shame and move into a space that's more welcoming for everyone, please reach out to me. Shoot me an email. Let's have a dialogue. I love to help fitness professionals change their annual turkey burns into charity events that support more of a mental wellness community factor and less of guilt and shame around what someone may eat during the holiday season. I love to help fitness professionals rename classes, maybe even exercises, so that they feel more inclusive and inviting for everyone. I love to help people like you go from feeling overwhelmed to feeling organized. So shoot me an email. Let's have a conversation. I've got a lot of questions I want to ask you. And if you're the kind of person who likes to be on social media, I do too. Come join me on Instagram. You can find me there at JHM Fitness. And of course, my website is jhmfitness.com, and that can show you all of the different offerings, the partners, the collaboration, and the ways that I hope that I'm really helping the fitness industry move forward, helping the fitness industry understand and embrace the mental well-being renaissance. I want to thank you again for being here. I want to thank you for paying attention. I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing. And I hope that you now have some solutions, ways that you can move over your career roadblocks. Thank you, and see you next time.